sacrifice your social life towards that goal, and then it doesn't deliver. It's a big kick in the face. Oh. See? Again, society says that if you're unemployed, guess what? You're just as good as this guy. If anything, this guy has a better alibi than you do. So this is what society expects us to do. They expect us to work 9 to 5 right after we graduate, or we join a full-time degree program. Otherwise, you might as well, find another exit on the freeway. You can also sell flowers. That should be good. And they also teach you that momentary failure is a lasting loss. I mean, I don't know why these guys are crying. I just took it off of Google, but I can imagine that when I got rejected, I looked somewhat like this. Yeah, more like this. And this is disappointing. And this is where you have to stop and think, what is going on? How do I get myself back up? Where is reconstruction, right? But remember, up until here, this is what society has expected from us. It expects only perfection, and it expects only achievement. And for whatever reason, even if it's beyond our own control, or if circumstances that we had no effect on imposed that, now it's forcing us to do something. You gotta come up with a plan fast. You cannot sit down and wait. So what happens? People choose something else. And that's a shame. Because when you're passionate about something, you should be able to pursue it. But in the flurry of all the pressure, you get forced into something else. Why? Because life has to go on. Not really. You should be able to have time for introspection, time for reevaluation of your goals. And in the end, it may not be that you have to take something else. It just means that you have to take some time off, rebuild yourself, and get back to the fight, right? And this is where our Islam comes in the story. With all the anguish that happens, obviously, and all the disappointment, we realize something, that education, employment, things of that nature are all aspects of the same thing that is talked about in the Quran time and time again, and that is the issue of risk, right? We know that there are some people out there who make it somewhere, or who achieve a certain salary, when they really didn't have the merits for that in the first place. And this might be a notion that's hard to come to grips with. I know, I do have to say, Zainab though, she deserves to go to medical school, mashallah. But there are people, out there who achieve things when it doesn't seem like they're deserving. And what does that teach us? That teaches us that risk has nothing to do with whether or not you're loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obviously. And if that's anything, that's a form of consolation. That this is not a punishment. You should not consider this as a failure. In fact, you might have been stopped so that you were forced to sit down and reevaluate your place. And it might be that you enter that program later on only stronger and with a different perspective on things. The other implication is that there is nothing, you have to come to grips with the fact that nothing you could have done differently could have led you elsewhere. This was your faith, and this is an important article of Iman, right? The last article is that we believe in fate, whether it's good or bad. We also believe that we can't jump into time machines and change them. And that really, really helps when it comes time to try and pick yourself back up. Because for a lot of people who don't meet society's expectations, depression ensues, and then sort of a difficult spiral down to nowhere can be the result. So we take this inspiration from Islam and develop that perspective, and we could care less about what society thinks any more than we care about what culture thinks. If culture wants me to be a doctor, and I want to become a doctor, I'm doing that. If culture wants me to be a doctor or an engineer, and I don't want to be, I only have to look to Islam to be able to use that as my form of acceptance. This is my crew. This is what I want to see myself be accepted by. Otherwise, it could care less. Because culture, like any other human convention, is not infallible, right? So, how do we survive the success? First of all, in that time that you have alone, whether you're unemployed, sitting at home, or you're rejected, sitting at home, you have to think about smaller steps to get to your bigger goal. So you can't make that jump. Okay, well, make smaller jumps, right? So one thing I did was because I did some research in my undergrad career, I asked one of my professors if I could work in his lab. That was Dr. Casali, which that's the Moshe for him right now. And I got a lot of practical experience, and it was very helpful. But I wanted something bigger than that, something that can be attached to my name. That's why, comma MPH. Encourage students to come, and this is an excellent place to network. We are so lucky that we live next to UCI, or we have some sort of affiliation with UCI, that there shouldn't be any excuse for us